On paper, the Netherlands shouldn't be an e-commerce heavyweight. It's one of Western Europe's smallest countries, roughly the combined size of Connecticut and Massachusetts, with a population barely over 18 million. And yet, a disproportionate share of Europe's digital commerce ecosystem was built here, from the infrastructure that powers online transactions to the platforms and brands shaping how people shop. The Dutch have built the payment processing company powering online shopping, the world's largest online travel platform, the largest online file transfer service, and a plethora of exciting startups ranging from direct-to-consumer products to online supermarkets to marketplaces reinventing how buyers and sellers connect. So it begs the question, how does a country smaller than South Carolina keep producing the companies and the infrastructure that power online trade? The explanation can't simply be size. Sure, bigger markets tend to produce bigger companies, but the Netherlands has fewer people than the Paris metro area, a smaller economy than Poland, and, unlike the US or China, no vast domestic market of hundreds of millions to help companies scale. So, the answer must lie deeper. Something about the country itself that makes online business easier to scale than anywhere else. The real explanation comes down to 4 structural advantages. Let's start with geography. The country sits at the heart of Europe's wealthiest consumer corridor, the so-called Blue Banana, stretching from Manchester to Milan. Within 500 kilometers of the Dutch border live 170 million consumers. Widen that radius to 1,000 kilometers and the number jumps to 244 million. From a single warehouse in the Netherlands, a parcel can reach London, Paris, Frankfurt, or Brussels within 24 hours by road. It's why companies like Nike and Samsung base their European distribution hubs here. One warehouse can serve half the continent overnight. That geographic advantage is amplified by infrastructure. The Port of Rotterdam is Europe's largest seaport, moving more than 397 million tons of cargo in 2024, far ahead of Antwerp and Hamburg, which together handled around 340 million tons. 40 minutes north, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport ranks as the continent's 5th largest cargo hub, handling 1.49 million tons of freight in 2024, an 8% jump as global e-commerce volumes surged. Together, these 2 hubs form something unique, a half-hour drive between Europe's biggest seaport and one of its biggest cargo airports, both plugged into the same national logistics grid. A dense network of roads, railways, and inland waterways that pushes goods deeper into Europe faster than almost any competing route. The digital infrastructure is just as good. Almost every single Dutch household has access to high-speed internet, among the highest rates in the European Union. The Dutch don't just have the tools. The instinct to trade is built into the country's DNA. For more than 4 centuries, the Netherlands has been a trading economy. The Dutch East India Company, founded in 1602, became one of the world's first multinational corporations. It pioneered shareholder ownership, created the first modern stock exchange, and built one of the earliest global supply chains, coordinating ships, warehouses, and financing across continents. That legacy still shapes how companies operate today. Businesses are built with cross-border distribution in mind from day one. The domestic market is simply too small to be the end goal, so founders default to designing for export. Communication is famously direct, hierarchies are loose, ideas are debated openly, and decisions tend to move quickly. For tech startups in particular, where rapid iteration is everything, that cultural wiring compounds into a real competitive edge over more hierarchical European markets. The nation also consistently ranks at the top of global English proficiency. It has placed first among non-native speakers 7 times in the 15-year history of the EF English Proficiency Index, and it has never fallen outside the top 3. That removes a friction most European founders can't avoid. Every product page, help center article, and customer email can be written in the working language of internet commerce from day one. The final pillar you could call government policy. And because that can get dry fast, let's frame it with a simple analogy. Imagine you run your own clothing brand. You outsource production to a factory in Tunisia, Morocco, or Egypt. These locations are appealing because labor is cheap and they're geographically close. But importantly, they sit outside the EU. When those finished garments arrive in the Netherlands, you don't have to pay VAT at the border. Instead, the Dutch government offers a powerful cash flow tool called Article 23. It lets importers defer VAT on goods coming from outside the EU. Rather than paying VAT up front and reclaiming it later, you simply record it on your periodic VAT return. For high-volume e-commerce businesses, that shift from paying immediately to declaring later is a major cash flow advantage. And this isn't standard across Europe. In many EU countries, importers must pay VAT immediately at the border, locking up capital for weeks or months. The Dutch system avoids that entirely, giving e-commerce companies far more liquidity to reinvest in stock, marketing, or growth. When customers place an order, payments flow smoothly and stay compliant with EU rules because the Dutch Central Bank was one of the first to issue licenses under the updated Payment Services Directive. That single license then passports across all 27 EU member states, meaning you can handle payments for customers anywhere in the European Union without needing separate approvals in each country. And while passporting is an EU-wide mechanism, getting the license in the first place isn't equal everywhere. The Dutch regulator moved early, acted quickly, and built a reputation for being predictable and founder-friendly, giving Dutch payment companies a head start in scaling across Europe long before competitors in countries with slower, more conservative regulators. I could go on about the rest of the policy stack, from generous R&D incentives to corporate tax on qualifying IP dropping as low as 9% for companies building payment tech and fraud detection tools, or the liberal hiring rules that give highly skilled migrants a major tax break. But at the risk of sounding like a government spokesperson, the point is simple. The Dutch are doing this a lot better than most of their peers. The Netherlands shows what happens when all these key components point in the same direction. It becomes a prototype for the digital-first economy most countries are still trying to build. When the physical world moves quickly, the digital world compounds even faster. And in the Netherlands, both are engineered to accelerate one another. It's a reminder that e-commerce isn't just about websites and warehouses. It's about the environment that surrounds them. And few environments are as deliberately built for e-commerce as this one.